Hi, this is Gayle with BERNINA of Naperville. And every Monday night for 12 weeks, we have these really cool Time for Nine classes. Now, 9 refers to the version 9 BERNINA embroidery software, either Creator or the Designer Plus version of the software. And it's a Zoom call, and we get together, same crowd every Monday night. You know how it is. And last week, I forgot to click the record button. So you guys get an added bonus because this is the exercise that we did last week. So last week's topic was Blackwork Fill. Now, we cheated just a little bit and we snuck in some lacework, some candle wicking and things like that. But this is a super fun exercise for you to make something that doesn't really require any thread changes or anything like that. And I think you're going to really like it. So let's go see how to do this. Okay, so here we are in our BERNINA Embroidery Software 9. And we're going to do a Blackwork run exercise and make a super cute rose. Now you can see here mine was all created very simply with this design by using different Blackwork fills. So what is Blackwork? Well, traditionally, Blackwork embroidery was used to decorate shirts, collars, cuffs, ruffs, and smocks for ladies and gentlemen. The designs were normally geometric or floral. Black silk thread was used as an even weave on white linen background, and it was initially referred to as a poor man's lace because of its lacy appearance. It was popular in England from the late 1400s to the early 1600s, and Catherine of Aragon, who, a Spanish princess, was the Queen of England from 1509 to 1533, and she popularized the term Spanish blackwork due to her fondness for the embroidery. Today, blackwork can be used on a wide range of fabrics using a variety of threads, colors, and designs. Blackwork traditionally employs two types of stitches, outline and filling, and the outline stitch is worked first to give definition to the shape required, and the filling stitches are worked within the outline shapes. So you will see the whole bean stitch a lot with the Blackwork fills, and that is just a traditional, very geometric chain type of stitch. So the filling stitches generally consist of a single motif which is repeated, forming a pattern, and then today you can use traditional Blackwork patterns or take patterns from the environment. So this source is from the sewingdirectory.co.uk. So please visit that website for more information on this technique. And I'm also going to be exploring not just Blackwork design fills, but also some of our ripple, contour, and candle wicking, and maybe even some lacework fills. So let's just go ahead and open this design. So I have a new design here, so I'm going to insert my artwork with that little icon that is the arrow pointing into a flower. And then I'm going to look into my public folder. So that requires that I go down here to my hard drive. I'm going to go to Users, Public Pictures, and then my BERNINA 9 pictures. And then there's a folder in there called Artwork. And then as we scroll down, there is a folder of Windows Meta Files, or WMF. So I'm going to double click that. And then I'm just going to scroll down, 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 down until I get to the roses. And there's a couple to choose from, but this is the one that I worked with. So I'm going to say open. And then this is coming in at about 3, almost 4 inches, but I actually want to make this, keeping my proportions so you can see that that little box is checked. I want to do this at about 7.5 inches. And so I'm just typing 7.5 in there and I'm hitting enter. This is also going to require that I use a different hoop. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick my maxi hoop. And there you can see how my flower fits in there. So now I want to prep my artwork. And so if I go into my auto digitize drawer, which is over here on the left-hand side under the toolboxes. This is just like a toolbox that you have like your screwdrivers in and things like that, but these are the tools that we use in the software. So I'm going to go to Auto Digitize, and I'm going to say prepare bitmap, and then it's automatically going to come up and reduce this to 5 colors. And to be honest with you, I think that looks perfect to me, so I'm going to say okay. Now, if you're having a hard time preparing your artwork and it's all grayed out like this, that just simply means that you need to make sure that your image is selected. You also want to make sure that your image is selected to do any other auto digitizing. But in this exercise, we're going to use our magic wand. And what we're going to do is we're going to just click on an area of this rose. And notice how I hover over this and different areas get that little grid. Well, that means that that's the area I'm selecting. So let's go ahead and select this and then select our blue select object arrow. And then do you see how my work looks totally fuchsia like that? But if I use show artistic view, it looks more like pink stitching. Well, for this exercise, I really want you to not show the artistic view. And you can either do that by touching this icon that you see my mouse hovering over or hitting the T on your keyboard. Once that's selected, I'm going to choose my Blackwork Fill down here at the bottom as an option. And the first design or fill design that comes up is the default one for Blackwork Fill. But if you wanted to change it, that's when you're going to go up here to this object properties. Why don't we leave this one the way it is and then go back over to our magic wand and pick another design or another part of the design. So let's select that. Let's go to our blue selector arrow. Let's pick Blackwork Fill. And now let's go to object properties and see that's what's selected. Now I can do a lot of different things with this, but we want to just focus right now on changing our pattern. So we're going to go to select and I'm going to choose a different pattern. And I want to choose something that's a little bit smaller. So maybe that little leaf like that. And then I'm just going to say apply. And now I'm going to move this window over. And then you can see how that changed to that fill. Another thing that I can do is I can change my colors to a darker color so they can show up on my flower as I build my design. And so now what I want to do is go over here to Magic Wand. Notice that I haven't closed my Object Properties box. So I'm going to go to Magic Wand again. And this time I'm going to go down here to this part of the flower. And then that created a pink petal because it's always going to pick the color when I'm magic wanding that my image is. But I'm going to go ahead and change that to dark. And then I'm going to go up here. And yes, we can change Blackwork down here, but we can also go to this fill type up here and this drop-down menu and select Blackwork Fill. There's that default design again. And this time, why don't we pick a different design? So let's pick this one and say apply. And now look how it shows up there in my flower. All right, so now I want to do another design. So I'm going to select Magic Wand and we're going to do this petal right here. I'm going to select the color and change it. And then I'm going to do my drop-down menu, Blackwork Fill. And this time we're going to pick a new design pattern. But we're also going to play around with the way it looks. So let's just find something that strikes a chord. You can see there's a lot to choose from here in this Blackwork run. Okay, so I want to choose this one. And now I'm going to not just choose this, I'm going to hit Layout. And now if I zoom in here with my zoom tool and drag my little left drag and hold my box, I can change the layout of this fill. And then I hit enter and then it has changed that fill stitch if I deselect it there. I could also go back and change things too if I wanted. So for instance, there might be an option where I want to take the layout of this one. Let's go look at it more up close and personal here. I can take this and I can move it into position here. And you can see that totally is going to give us a different look with this. So I'm going to say enter. And now, as I look at the whole thing, look at my little leaves, how different that looks in there. So that you can do with every fill pattern of any kind of design, blackwork or otherwise. So then there's a couple of other things that I really like to play with. And we're going to start by doing magic wand, but this time I'm going to do magic wand on a few areas at the same time. And then I'm going to select them by selecting that color here in color film. And I'm going to go down here to lacework. And I want to pick that little grid design. And then I'm going to hit apply and then change my color. And look at that delicate little netting that we just put in there. So that even though that's not Blackwork Fill, it is a very appropriate kind of fill stitch. So now I'm going to take my magic wand and digitize that top petal. Let's go ahead and make this one a dark color. And now, why don't we try ripple or contour? Let's do contour. And then this is our stitch length and the amount of space. So I'm just going to go ahead and do OK. Click away so you can see how close together that is. But what if we don't want it to be that close together? We can adjust the stitch spacing. Let's do 4 millimeters so that you can see the difference. See the difference there? There's another option where we can select this just like we did before, change the color. Now let's go in to ripple and say apply. And look at what happens with that. That's really kind of cool. And another thing that we can do with this, remember our reshape object? We can go in there and change where we want all of that to convene there on our flower so that we can really change the way that petal looks. I think I like it like that, but I think I'd like the stitch spacing to be a little further apart, about like that. I really like the way that looks. Okay, so now we've got a little bit more digitizing to do. We've just got 2 more pink spots. And so let's just play. We can do anything in the world that we want with this. So I'm going to go ahead and do both of these areas at the same time. And then I'm going to select one. And I'm going for a pattern. Did you know we have so many different patterns that we can choose from? And they're categorized in this pattern set with this drop-down menu. So let's say we pick something home deck, and we can see the outline of the stitches, or if we touch this leaf, it gives us the true view of the stitch. So let's have a look and see if there's something in this that will work. And there's our layout of how this is going to work. Let's just say apply and see what this looks like once we turn it black. Ooh, I really like that. And you can see how cool that looks. But you know, I'm just going to undo this because I really like my original pattern there. Okay, so now we have another piece over here that we can select. And with this one, I want to go back to my Blackwork Fill. And let's just select another design to play with a little bit. I think I'll go for this one. And maybe we play with the layout again. Just because, you know, I have to dare to be different, right? And we can make this smaller. And we can offset it. And let's have a look at how that looks. See if we like it. Changing it to black. Ooh, that looks really cool. All right, so now as we go around these leaves, I don't necessarily want these leaves to all be different. I want them to be consistent. So I'm going to pick my magic wand and I'm going to do all of this light green together. Okay. Then I'm going to use my color film to select all of the green, and I want to use a candle wicking fill. And I don't want the full colonial knot just because of stitching time. So I'm going to do the half knot, and then I'm going to say apply. And now look at those cute leaves. Let's do something similar over here on our dark green leaves. There we go. And now what I want to do is go to maybe that lace work. And now let's select a different lace work. Let's go to L0005A and apply and see what that looks like. Okay, and now I'm going to change these to the dark color. And now I'm going to turn the picture off up here so we can see what that looks like. I think it looks pretty good. We just need some decorative stitching. So now this is where it gets a little bit slightly more complicated. Let's turn our picture back on. And I want to go down here. Instead of using our magic wand, we're going to use our magic wand center line. And then notice how I can hover over the outline of this flower, and that's going to actually digitize my line. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my picture off again, and we're going to see this. And so there's the line of my flower, but I want to do some magic. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to pick a new design, and I'm going to paste it. And now I want to look everywhere that this has an opening. See how if I zoom in on this, these points need to be connected? So what I'm going to do is reshape so that my little intersections everywhere on this piece will overlap. And there's a method to this madness, I promise. What this is going to do is it's going to prevent jump stitches because I'm going to use a special trick with this. But it takes a little bit of tenacity because there are a lot of little openings. These openings, you might be wondering why they're even there. And it's because of how this file had like a thick line and it just interpreted gaps as gaps rather than trying to fill them in with stitches. And then I'm just going to be doing this a lot where I zoom to see the whole thing, then use my magnifying glass to zoom in and make sure things are covered. Also using the my arrows to pan and move my image around in here. All right, once you think you're done, you're going to give a very discerning look to it like this and make sure that you've covered all of your gaps. Now, another thing I want to show you is there's going to be a lot of different jump stitches and everything with this. So basically, what I'd like to do is take this design now, and I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to break it apart. Then I'm going to select it again, and I'm using Control A on my keyboard, and I can go over here to Blackwork Run, click that, and then just enter any entry point on this flower, and it gets rid of my jump stitches. And then finally, what I'd also like to do is change this to stem stitch. I love it. So now we're going to copy it, go back to our other design, delete the outline that was auto-generated, and paste our new design. And there it is. And now we can send it to the machine and stitch it out. All right. Wasn't I right? It was fun and pretty easy. Now, the hard part is going to be stitching it out, right? Finding the time to do it is what I'm referring to. Now, one thing I did, I made mine 2 colors. So the fill stitches are going to stitch out in a light gray, a lighter black, or like a charcoal gray, and then the outline stitches are going to stitch out in black. But you could do one of 2 things. On your sewing machine, you could pick the monochromatic feature when you stitch it out, or you can just change that black outline to the charcoal gray color, just like I was changing around there in the software. It's up to you. I kind of think it has a nice dimension if you have the 2 colors. But anyway, all right, that's enough for now. And if you, as always, if you want to see more tutorials and videos like this one, don't forget to check out our Bernina of Naperville YouTube channel. It's easy. It's youtube.com/Bernina of Naperville, and there you can like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.